Hi everyone and welcome. It is 2 p.m. Eastern. I'm Ella Bates and I'm your reader today for the Self-Leadership Reading Club. What on earth does that mean? Well, that means that you don't have to rush out and buy the book. What book are we reading? We are reading Jack Canfield's The Success Principles. Here we go. I'm reading it for you. We do 5 to 10 minutes of reading and then there's some discussion and comments, and I'm going to add in any value that I can to really support you in that. So let's get cracking. Is the principle we are looking at today. It is principle number 12, if you can believe that, is act as if. I've talked about that a little bit from a visualization perspective, but let's take a look at what Jack Canfield says. Believe and act as if it were impossible to fail. Believe and act as if it was impossible to fail. Charles Kettering said that. He was the inventor of over 140 patents and honorary doctorates from over 30 universities. So pretty smart guy. One of the great strategies for success is to act as if you are already where you want to be. This means thinking like, talking like, dressing like, acting like, and feeling like the person who has already achieved your goal. Acting as if sends powerful commands to your subconscious mind to find creative ways to activate your goal. It programs the reticular activating system in your brain to start noticing anything that will help you succeed. And it sends strong messages to the universe that this is the end goal and something that you really want. Let me explain this reticular activating system for you. It acts like a smoke alarm, if you like. So every 5 seconds, your body is saying, am I safe? Am I in danger? Am I safe? Am I in danger? And it's the reticular activating system that's asking this question. But what it's constantly doing is scanning, like a smoke alarm. It's scanning out for opportunities and resources that you need to keep you safe. And one of those things that's keeping you safe is your goal. It's keeping you happy, because your brain is not designed to keep you happy. It's designed to keep you safe. So this is how it does it. So you want to activate that part of the brain. And you do that by visualization and other techniques that you've seen in other episodes. But today we're talking about acting as if. The first time I noticed this phenomenon, I was at my local bank. There were several tellers there, and I noticed that one in particular always wore a suit and tie. Unlike the other 2 male tellers who just wore a shirt and tie, this young man looked like an executive. A year later, I noticed he had been promoted to his own desk where he was taking loan applications. 2 years later, he was a loan officer, and later he became the branch manager. I asked him about this one day, and he replied that he always knew that he would be a branch manager, so he studied how the manager dressed and started dressing that way. He studied how the manager treated people and started interacting with people the same way. He started acting as if he were branch manager long before he ever became one. Isn't that awesome? Another great quote here, Richard Bach says, to fly as fast as thought, to be anywhere there is, you must first begin by knowing that you have already arrived. Isn't that something? I love that. Now, what I want to mention about this is I want to be really clear that it's not acting fake. It's not being someone that you don't want to be. If this is something that you really want to do, if this is something that you love and you have a real passion for, please excuse me a second. Guys, please don't do that. For those watching live or recorded, we are in fact the 9th of April 2020. So you can imagine I've got my kids in the background. I'm going to give you an example of this. I'm a very colourful person, lively and dynamic, as you can see. So I'm actually wearing a bit boring clothes. I actually had my tie-dyed shirt on. And I'm actually wearing the most ridiculous rainbow pants too, because I want to feel colourful and I want to feel bright and I want to feel exciting and I want to feel all this motivational happiness today. So I'm acting as if, and I do that by dressing in happy colours, by surrounding myself with happy people, by putting happy music on, by reading happy things, right? And look at this book I have. Look how colourful this is, right? Like, you've got to act as if it's already happening. So be the way that you want to be, always. But keep yourself who you are. Stick to your values. Very important. Let's go on here. Jack Canfield. The Millionaire Cocktail Party. Oh, I love this. The party that could change your life. Now, if you've not heard about this, this is something that you absolutely might want to embrace. In 1986, I attended a party given by Diana von Valance. I'm sure I've not said her name properly, so I apologize if she's watching. And the inside eye that deeply impacted the lives of all of us who attended. It was a come as you will be in 1991 party. Now, bear in mind, this is 1986, so that's 5 years later. held on the Queen Mary in Long Beach, California, which I've been to. It's awesome, by the way. Those of us who attended were to envision where we would like to be in 1991, 5 years into the future. After we had created our ideal vision, we were then to stretch our imaginations even further to make our vision even bigger still. And when we attended the party, we were to act as if we really were in 1991 and our vision had already come true. We were to dress, taught the part, and bring any props that demonstrated that our dream had already come true. Books written, awards earned, large paychecks received, whatever. We were to spend the evening bragging about our accomplishments, celebrating our successes and the successes of others, talking about how happy and fulfilled we were, and discussing what we were going to do next. We were to stay in character that entire night. When we arrived, we were met by 20 men and women who had been hired to play the part of adoring fans and paparazzi. How cool is that? Cameras flashed and fans screamed our names asking for autographs. Hi from Tunisia, welcome. I went as a judge. Dressed as a beach bum, which was his vision of retirement. Handing out real lottery tickets to everyone at the party. A woman brought a mock edition of Time magazine with a cover for winning an international award for making advances in the peace movement. How cool is that? A man who wanted to retire and spend his life as a sculptor showed up in a leather sculptor's apron with a hammer and chisel and safety goggles and pictures of sculptures he had. Another gentleman who wanted to become a successful stock market trader spent the entire evening answering his cell phone, talking animatively, and then commanding, buy 5,000 shares or sell. He'd actually hired someone to call him every 15 minutes during the party just to carry off his as if. Isn't this cool? Would you attend this party? I totally would. And you know you've read this far, the same thing happened to Jack Canfield. But most importantly, it worked. And all those who attended the party have gone on to realize the dream that they acted out that night and much, much more. Make the commitment to throw a come as you will party for 5 years' time. So once we're able to get out of all this, I think that's pretty awesome. Don't you think you should do that? What would be yours? So if you were to act as if, what would be yours? So I'm going to give you an example of that. So one of my goals last year, one of my micro goals, was to speak in a stage in front of 500 people. This year is in front of 1,000 and 5,000 people, and next year will be 10,000 people when it comes to my speaking arenas. And I've done that so far. But I was discussing this with my friend Kristen, having coffee in Starbucks. And she said to me, she says, so what are you doing towards this? So I told her my goals, and she said, well, what are you doing to act as if you've already made it? So Kristen's a fellow NLP practitioner. For those that don't know, that's neuro-linguistic programming, neuro being your brain, linguistic, how you communicate to yourself, and programming is what you're actually programming into conscious and subconscious. So I said to her, I said, I don't think I'm actually doing anything. And I was putting myself in the circle of people who are already on those circuits. So I was acting as if I was already in those circles, which is awesome. And I still continue to do. But I said to her, and mark my words, today is the 9th of April, 2020. Excuse me, she says, what will it look like when you're talking to 10,000 people? What will you dress like? And I said, I'll be wearing a pantsuit and I'll be wearing these specific John Fluevog shoes. I love John Fluevog shoes. If you've never heard of it, you need to go and look it up. Beautiful shoes. She says, well, what's stopping you from buying the shoes now? And each time you wear them, you imagine you are already a speaker to 10,000 people. So that is awesome. So guess what? I have the shoes, people. So you can do it too. Act as if. A couple of things I've written here. I was taking a look this morning, researching for the live today, and other people who act as if. And there's lots of articles out there about faking it before you make it. Now, I don't like to say that you should fake it, because you should always be who you want to be. No one will ever be you, as that famous author. Oh my goodness, I can't remember his name right now off the top of my head. Dr. Seuss, sorry. He said that there's no one truer than you, and it's true, right? So as much as you might want to be Arlene Dickinson, I can't be Arlene Dickinson because there's only one Arlene Dickinson, okay? There'll be differences, but I can see the kind of content she's putting out online. I can see how she deals with people, how she builds relationships, what value she's giving, and I can do exactly the same if that's who I want to be. I totally admire Arlene, but it's not who I want to be. A couple of other things, other ways that people have faked it till they make it. There was a CEO of a company who watched videos of him being on stage giving the company talks every single year because he got nervous. So he'd watch the video right before he went on stage with people laughing and clapping and saying, yeah, and getting really, really happy, so that he put himself in that mode of already feeling that. So when he went out on stage, he was totally feeling like everyone was already laughing and happy and really enjoying the experience. Pretty cool, right? You can do that. So what happens is your brain, I've said it before in other episodes, your brain doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. Therefore, it allows you to put yourself into that position with those exact hormones, those exact emotions. So when he walked on stage, he was feeling it already. He was feeling motivated and happy and successful. Getting the right people around you. Okay, so yes, that's a topic in itself, is getting the absolute right people around you. But you want the people around you who are going to emanate your success, celebrate your success, pull you up in your challenges, because you are going to fail. You're going to fail again and again and again, and you're going to get up again and again and again. Even the most successful people are failing, then getting up, failing, then getting up. This is how you master something, okay? It's all the art of practice. You either do or you don't. You don't say you're going to try. You either do or you don't, right? So if you are doing and you're failing, you are doing. You're taking more action than most people out there. Let's face it. So we get the right people around you who, no matter what your crazy idea is, say, yeah, that sounds awesome. How can I support you in that? What do you need? Have you thought about these things? Can I be a sounding board? Let's go out and celebrate when it happens. Let's celebrate some milestones. Who do you have around you? Are they supportive? Are they giving you the right feedback? Are they giving you vulnerable and realistic feedback, or are they just telling you what you want to hear, right? Get in the right circles of people, professionally and personally as well. This one I really liked, another way of faking it till you make it. So I'm sure you've all heard the phrase givers gain, or maybe even karma. And put in the comments your experience with that. But one option was to go and validate other people, because we want to be validated. So let's say, for example, I want to be validated as an extraordinary, engaging, dynamic stage speaker. Okay, so therefore, those people who I see who are dynamic and engaging and a really energetic stage speaker, I'm going to go and validate them. I'm going to email them. I'm going to send them LinkedIn and say, you're really dynamic and energetic, and I appreciate that and how much value you give. Because that comes back to you. And the more people you validate, and if people think that I am great and they tell me, it's validating me and it's encouraging me to do more and more of it, right? So go and validate someone else. You will have less self-doubt if you do something that you love and you are personally passionate about. Fact, okay? Take a look at something. If you're kind of procrastinating about it or have a lot of self-doubt, think to yourself, is this actually something that you really love and you're very, very passionate about? I want to share one last story with you before we get going on this, and any questions that come through, I'll answer those for you. But I read a really cool story not so long ago, and I wish I could find it. And when I do, I'll send it to those people who get the show notes once a week. And it was my kids running around in the background here. I apologize. Okay, lovely. Okay. Okay, so it's about willpower. Now, some people believe that those people who have willpower, right before they decide to not do something because it's bad for them or do something else because it's better for them, they tense their muscles. So they did this experiment where they got people to test their muscle, tense their muscles. So grip your fist or raise your shoulders right before you actually take an action that you know is really, really good for yourself. So let's say you go open, we're all doing this right now, opening the fridge. What shall I have? Piece of that chocolate cake? Or a nice juicy apple, right? So right before you do that, you tense your hands together, and your brain is more likely to go for the apple than it is the cheesecake, because willpower and tensing your muscles is totally associated. So try it. That's called anchoring. It's a whole NLP process. I'll talk more about it to you. I'm going to send it out in the show notes. But for now, here, I'll leave you with this. Today's principle is act as if. Our next principle, which will be Monday, because tomorrow is Good Friday, with principle 13, all about taking action, one of my big things here. So if you are subscribing, we'll no longer be daily show notes, only because we have so many people subscribing now. As of tomorrow, it'll be weekly. So on a Monday, we'll send the previous week's show notes out to you. I hope you can subscribe. I'll put it here in the description for you. I really, truly welcome you joining me here on these lives. And if you would like any more details, you can reach out to me, ella@ellabates.com. But for now, enjoy your long weekend. Thanks for joining me.